I never imagined that Starmer could be such a master of deception. He's proven himself to be a full-blown fraud, blatantly lying to everyone. Why, you ask? Just look at the promises he made to the British public. His manifesto clearly stated there would be no increase in national insurance taxes and no cuts to the winter fuel allowance for millions of pensioners. But now, he says one thing and does the complete opposite. Welcome back. In this video, we'll expose Starmer's true face and go over the latest news from around the country. Before we dive in, don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos and stay updated with our growth. During his election campaign, Keir Starmer repeatedly emphasized that he would not raise national insurance. This was a key promise to win public support, particularly from workers struggling with economic hardships. However, less than 100 days after the Labour Party came into power, leaks from internal sources revealed that the government is preparing to raise national insurance in the upcoming budget. Another key promise, maintaining winter fuel payments for pensioners, is also under threat. Millions of pensioners could lose this benefit, something that was never mentioned in Labour's manifesto. These promises have now turned into empty words, leaving the public feeling betrayed. They believed Starmer would bring change, but the reality has been the complete opposite. Labour's policies are now going against the very commitments they made. The greatest disappointment felt by the public isn't just the broken promises, but the lack of transparency and accountability in how Starmer and his government operate. The pledge not to raise national insurance was reiterated multiple times by Starmer and Rachel Reeves, the Labour Party's shadow chancellor, throughout the campaign. But now, as internal discussions about raising national insurance have been leaked, the betrayal is laid bare. This has sparked outrage, especially among voters who once trusted Labour and pinned their hopes on Starmer. And it doesn't end there. The Starmer government is also considering slashing winter fuel payments, a crucial benefit for millions of pensioners. This not only contradicts their promises, but is a heartless move against one of the most vulnerable groups in society. Starmer has betrayed those who trusted him, and now his credibility is collapsing beyond repair. Many once believed that Keir Starmer would bring real change to the Labour Party, especially after the chaos under Jeremy Corbyn's leadership. But as time passes, it's becoming clear that Starmer is just another politician, swayed by corporate interests and hidden powers. His willingness to break key promises proves he is no different from those he once criticized. Starmer once passionately declared that he would restore standards in public life. Yet, his actions suggest the opposite. His lack of transparency in governing has many asking, is this all part of Starmer's long-term plan to consolidate power, even if it means betraying the public's trust? One of the most alarming aspects of this deceitful campaign is how Starmer uses political promises as temporary tools to gain voter support, only to break them once in power. This not only undermines the public's faith in the political system, but also raises serious questions about the integrity of Starmer and his cabinet. Starmer's supporters, especially those who voted for him out of frustration with the Conservative Party, now feel deceived. They hoped Starmer would bring real change, but the reality shows he is just an opportunist, willing to break any promise to hold on to power. The disappointment and anger towards Starmer stem not just from broken promises, but from the erosion of trust in the political system and the instability this could cause. Labour, once the party of the working class, is now seen as serving the interests of a small elite. If Starmer continues down this path, it's not just him but the entire Labour Party that will face the consequences. Trust has been lost, and without immediate change, Labour could face collapse in the near future. For the country, the downfall of a major political party could create chaos, making the political system unstable and difficult to control. In other news, during a parliamentary debate on the Tenants' Rights Bill, Labour Party Deputy Leader Angela Rayner was ridiculed by Kemi Badenoch, Secretary of State for Business and Trade. Rayner's speech was criticised as unclear, and Badenoch harshly attacked the policy's effectiveness. She reminded Rayner that during their first confrontation, she warned that Rayner could become a target for criticism by the Prime Minister and Chancellor. Badenoch noted that the new policy would only create chaos for tenants, with poor regulations and higher rents. Rayner, interrupted by a Labour MP, continued her speech afterward. Beyond the Tenants' Rights Bill debate, other pressing issues are also surfacing in UK politics. Labour is under increasing pressure from experts and the public to protect workers' rights in the upcoming budget, especially amid concerns about new taxes, including potential car taxes and the removal of fuel tax relief. Rachel Reeves, Labour's shadow chancellor, is expected to unveil the government's first budget since coming to power in July. However, tough decisions loom to fill the PS2 £2 billion budget gap left by the Conservative administration. This has sparked concerns about rising fuel prices and other taxes, which could weigh heavily on people's lives during a cost-of-living crisis. Experts have also called on the Labour government to deliver on its pledge to repair the nation's roads, especially addressing the pothole issue, one of the public's biggest grievances. Labour promised to fill 1 million potholes annually to reduce repair costs for drivers. At the same time, the party faces pressure over whether to maintain the 5p per litre fuel tax cut, a policy set to expire in March 2024. Another hot topic is the upcoming visit of King Charles and Queen Camilla to Australia, which has stirred controversy as 6 state premiers have refused to attend the welcoming ceremony. Sydney's iconic Opera House will be lit up in honour of the King, despite criticism over the event's high costs. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns, a Republican, stated that while he won't attend the reception, the King will still be warmly welcomed in Sydney. Amid debates about tenants' rights and domestic policy, the upcoming Labour government budget remains a major concern as the public endures a prolonged cost-of-living crisis. This puts immense pressure on the government to strike a balance between improving public finances and maintaining the promise not to raise taxes on workers. One controversial proposal is the government's potential plan to raise fuel or car-related taxes, which could push fuel prices higher and directly impact the working class. Meanwhile, experts and social organizations have warned that failing to protect workers' rights, particularly for drivers, could lead to strong opposition against Labour in upcoming elections. The country's crumbling infrastructure is also a key issue. Our reports show that the increasing number of potholes reflects years of decline under Conservative rule. Labour pledged in its manifesto to address these issues, but so far implementation is still pending. The national healthcare system is another area facing serious challenges. Overcrowded hospitals, staff shortages, and long waiting times have eroded public confidence in the government's ability to provide adequate healthcare. While the Labour Party has repeatedly stressed the need for increased healthcare investment, especially after the pandemic, the question remains whether they have the resources and political backing to make these changes. That brings us to the end of today's video. Leave your comments below, and if you found this analysis interesting, don't forget to like, share with your friends and family, and subscribe with the notification bell to stay updated. Thanks for your support.